Today I'm going to show you something that people do all the time, but I'm going to show you how to do it in Blender. People love the Star Wars intro. It's a classic intro with the words going up the screen so you can get an idea of what's going on in the story and where you are. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in Blender. It's really simple. First thing we need, though, is the words we want on the screen. Now, if you're making your own movie, obviously you'll have your own words, but I did a Google search, found the actual words for the intro to Star Wars, and I will highlight that. I will copy it and open up, not GIMP, I will open up gedit, which is a text editor. You can open up any text editor you'd like. I'll paste the words in there, and I'll close GIMP that I accidentally opened. And then I'll hit File, Save As, and I will save it in my temp folder under Star Intro. I'll save that, and then we'll open up Blender. We get our default Blender view here. You might have a key. Well, this isn't the default. I'll show you what the default looks like, just so I don't confuse new people. Load default. There we go. This is your default scene. I'm now going to right-click here, split the window. Right-click here, split the window. And that's how I like it. I like having three views there. I'm going to hit delete to delete that default cube. And then with the number pad on my keyboard, not the number row at the top, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to hit 7 to go into top view, which I'm already in. Down here, I'm going to hit 1 for front view, and over here, I'll hit 0 for camera view. That's just how I like having it set up. You can set up how you like. Anyway, going back to what we're doing here, I'm going to go into the top view here. I'll hit spacebar, which gives me my add. I'm going to add some text. So there we have some text. I am now going to go to, which I'm already in, my edit window, which is F9 down here. And I'm going to click center. That centers the text. Next, I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode on the text, and I'll backspace to delete the default text, and I'll click insert text. I am now going to find the file that we saved earlier, so I'm in my temp folder. I am going to scroll past all these files, and I'm going to click star intro, open text file, and you can see we get our words up on the screen here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to materials. So F5 here, I'm going to add a new material, and we're just going to make it a nice yellow color, like so. And then I'm going to click the world button here, and I'm going to change the background color to black and add stars. At this point, we can hit F12 to get a preview, and there you go. You can see our words up on the screen and the stars in the background. Now, thing I'm going to change here, we have our light source here, but we don't really need that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, once again, select our text words here, and I'm going to hit material. I'm going to make it shadeless. That makes it a bright yellow color no matter where the light is, so you don't get dark areas on the words. And if I hit F12, you'll see the words are a bit brighter. It doesn't get darker as it gets further away from the light source. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my camera. So what I'm going to do is in the top view here, I am going to hit Shift 0, and that moves my camera to the top view. I'm then going to hit 7 on my number pad, and that's 0 on the number pad, by the way, not 0 on your top row. I hit 7 to go back into top view here, and in this front view down here, I'm actually going to hit 3 and go into side view. I'm going to select the camera, and I am going to hit R to rotate, X for the X-axis, and then I'm going to rotate it just to an angle like so, wherever you feel comfortable. And then I'm going to select the text, and I will grab it on the Y-axis, so hit G to grab and Y for the Y-axis. I'm going to move the words till they're just below the camera there, and then I'm going to hit I to create a keyframe, and I'll just lock location, rotation, and scale here. So we create a keyframe there. I'm now going to hit Shift and up arrow to go to the last frame, which by default is 250. I'm going to scroll back to move back, and I'm going to hit G to grab. I'm going to hit Y, and I'm going to move the text up here. And then I'll hit I to lock the keyframe there. Now I can put my cursor over the camera view here, and I'm going to hit Alt A, and it'll start the animation here, and you can see the words going. Now you may have noticed that it started off kind of slow and then sped up, and it's going to slow down at the end. We don't really want that. We want it to go the same speed through the entire thing. So I'm going to, at this point, hit T. I'm sorry, not here. I have the text selected. I'm going to select here and go to IPO Curve Editor. And with the text selected, you can see our motion here, and you can see how it's a curved line. We're going to hit A to select all, and then T, and we're going to hit linear, and you can see it made that a straight line. That means we have a constant speed on that movement. So now if I hit Alt A, you can see it moving at a constant speed. We can now at this point stop it somewhere in the middle frame there, and I'll hit F12, and we can see what our words look like. And we can hit up arrow until we get to the end here, or shift up to go to the last frame. I'll hit 12, and you can see the words going there. Now at this point, you're pretty much done. Only two things you may want to adjust. You may want to adjust the camera angle a little bit if you're not happy with it, which I think I'm going to R to rotate, X for X-axis, and move it up just a little right there. And other than that, the only other thing you might want to take into account is default there's 250 frames. If we click on our scene window here, F10, you can change the number of frames. So if you have a lot of text, you may want to make that longer, at which point you will also have to adjust your keyframes so that the words don't go too fast or too slow. That's just depending on how long your little intro is. And at this point, you can check some presets over here. I use NTSC because I live in the United States, and you can choose FFmpeg because we're going to make a video. MPEG-2 if you want to, well, you can pick any of these presets here. If you're going to go online, you want to use FLV or XVID, something like that. If you're going to put this directly onto a DVD, you can actually choose a preset of DVD, which is the MPEG-2. You can also choose DV if you're going to be editing this later on. DV is basically what you get from your camera, and it will make it, you won't lose any quality really using DV. Audio, there's no sound to this, so we're not going to worry about that. Name where you want to put the file. We'll just call it star here. I'll put it in my temp directory, and I will hit animate, and it will start rendering out the video. You can see it's doing about 3 frames a second. We have 250 frames to render, but there we go. We're getting our words up on the screen. So you figure this is going to be at 250 frames. 300 frames would be a 10-second video. So this is probably going to be, just doing the math in my head, 8 seconds, this video. I really should find out what 250 is since that's the default. But that is how you make a Star Wars intro in Blender. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and visit filmsbychris.com for more video tutorials like this. The link is in the description. Are you still there? Okay, for those of you who stuck around, rendering is almost done here, and I'll hit play and we can see what it looks like in real time. And there's the last frame. I'll click play here, and there we go. It's going a little bit fast, so might want to go back and increase this up to like 500 frames, so it would be half the speed. Or you can just slow it down inside another video editor when you go to edit the video. But if you slow it down too much, it might become a little jerky. But that's definitely a little too fast for most people to read. So to change that, we would choose this. I'd put it at 500. That would give us half the speed. But you also have to change the IPO. So select the text. And at this point, or not the IPO, we can go to our timeline here. Yes, not the timeline. The NLA editor. There we go. And we got our keyframes here. I'll just grab this keyframe. I will select it. I will hit G to grab, and I will move it to 500. And now our animation, if I hit Alt A, you can see that was starting halfway through at 250, which used to be our end. So that slows down the animation a little bit, and that is a little more for those of you who stuck around. Thanks for watching, and visit filmsbychris.com for more video tutorials like this.